Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today. Great to have you with me. So we're looking at the other person today. How do they feel about you? What's going on there in terms of their thoughts, their feelings, their actions? Let's break down their character and have a look and see who this person is and how does they feel about you. We'll also look at you and how you think and feel about the other person. The dynamics between the two of you. What's going on? What's going on between the two of you and where's it going in terms of a future outcome? So lots to get through, and before we get started, if you would like to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can, and if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you, we have 4 different cards on the screen, and the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really clearly. Perfectly fine to choose more than one card if it comes through really strongly. And just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave behind anything that doesn't. Now we have card 1, card 2, card 3, and card 4. So taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath, and as you release the breath, listening to the energy of the cards, your inner voice, your intuition, which of these cards speaks to you the loudest? Is it card 1, card 2, card 3, or card 4? Now, down below, there are 4 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you would like to go to the one that you've chosen, I'll see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card 1. This is your reading and we're looking at how the other person feels about you and whatever it is that's going on between the two of you, and cards are on the table. So let's jump on in. Up here at Justice and the 9 of Wands. Yeah, I really felt this is somebody who's sitting on the fence and making a real meal of what's going on in a way where they're just not being decisive. They're not acting one way or the other in terms of letting you know what they really want. I kind of feel like the ball is in their court and they hold the balance in a way that dictates where this is all going between the two of you. So I kind of feel like, they're in a position of power. And that's quite a strong word to use, but, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like the ball is in their court. It's really up to them about making up their mind as to where this is all going. This person knows that they have to make a really important decision, okay? They know that they have to make a decision that it really is about whether they're in this relationship or whether they're out of this relationship. It's crunch time and they're thinking about it an enormous amount. In fact, they've thought about it so much for so long now that I think they've become quite exhausted by it all. At the same time, I kind of feel there's nowhere for them to hide just now, right? It's like I kind of feel like you and the circumstances have really forced their hand in a way that actually is putting a lot of pressure on them to really look at what's going on in a way that's fair and that considers the reality of what's happening between the two of you. Yeah. But my feeling here is that this person is very lost in their process of trying to resolve this in a way that actually gives an outcome that takes it in one direction or the other. So things are predominantly, they really are very much unresolved. Now, this is a person who I felt, if we're coming back into the past here, over to the Tower and the 5 of Cups, I feel that this person has had a string of really difficult relationships that have left them feeling quite grieved, actually. I feel like this is a really sensitive person. Look, I'm going to say emotionally, they're oversensitive. They take things on very personally, and they have this little predisposition to rejection. So they're not very good at handling difficult situations that bring up a lot of emotions and which confronts them, because very quickly they become quite dysfunctional, actually. They get very caught up in their feelings, and these feelings can be very negative, and they're often based around this idea of feeling rejected or feeling disappointed or feeling let down. And when they get like that, there's this tendency to withdraw when things get tricky, when things get difficult in a relationship. They just find it very hard to confront the situation in a way that goes past the feelings, goes past the emotions, and actually looks at things in probably a little bit more, in more of a rational sense. So I kind of feel like this is a very difficult person to have a conversation with about pressing issues that really helped to sort of navigate either where the relationship's going or, where your decision-making process is going in terms of a couple. But coming back to the initial point, I really felt that there was a historic string here of relationships where this person has just kind of failed from one after the other because of their behavior. And it's like, I almost feel that when they met you, that perhaps they'd actually just come out of a difficult relationship, but look, I have to be honest with you. Moving forward into the connection between the two of you, I feel like there's been a lot of love there between the two of you. I feel like you when you met each other, you were really on the same page in terms of what you wanted with each other, and I felt that there was a very strong connection there between the two of you. Down here with Temperance and the Three of Pentacles, I felt like with you that you have been an enormous support to this person. I think you've actually given a lot of healing energy. I think you've really stabilized their circumstances. I think you've really stabilized their mental and emotional world in a way that's been very positive. I think your influence on them has actually been one that has really helped them to pick up the pieces of their life and to kind of grow a bit of a backbone in a way where they've become a lot more resilient to their process, really. I think they've toughened up a little bit. I think that you've actually given them a lot. I think you've actually been somebody who has actually poured quite a lot into their life in a way that has really helped them to sort of see a way forward in terms of the relationship between the two of you, but also in terms of this person's more dysfunctional process. I think that you've really helped them to navigate more clearly in a way that actually helps them to not get so lost in themselves, but where are things at? Because I think at the end of the day, my sense here is that you're really wanting to settle down. Over here with the Devil and the Ten of Cups, I kind of felt for you that you were really at a point where you really wanted to settle down, and it's about family and having children for some of you. Definitely about coming together in a way where you find fulfillment in a relationship, and just kind of like have a life that gives you like a sense of belonging in a relationship that's really connected. And this person's holding all the cards. They've got the power. The ball's in their court. And at the moment, they're just kind of like, sitting on the fence in a way where they're not really giving you what you need in order to feel confident that things are moving forward in a direction that, really, take you where you want to go. And you've been very invested in this person. I think you've given so much to them. In some ways, you've really propped this person up and, helped them to get on their feet. I think you're incredibly forgiving of what they're like as a person, because look, the reality is that you really love this person. I mean, over here with the High Priestess and the King of Cups, I think that you're very involved in them at an emotional level. There's a lot of love there from you, and I think that you find it difficult maybe to be. It's not that you're not honest about it. I don't think that you really tell them exactly how it is that you feel, because I think there's a sense that deep down that putting it all on the table in that sense is really putting it on the line, because the reality is that your maturity is above and beyond their capacity to be able to respond in the same way. And so therefore, like it's a tricky situation for you because I think you know that you do overcompensate in this particular relationship in a way that actually does give an enormous amount to this other person and that they're not responding in a fair and equal way. And the reality is that this time right now is that this is a crunch time for them to step up and actually be the person that they actually need to be to meet you very fairly, very equally. So I think this is a very important reading on that particular level. I do think that you've come to this point where you're quite desperate to settle down, and you're being held back and blocked from that in a way that kind of generates a lot of desire for the thing that you can't have, and that really is hard because it makes you very unhappy when you recognize that this current trajectory is just not a sustainable, it's just not a sustainable pace. It's not a sustainable dynamic. And that, essentially you're being controlled in a way that stops you from getting the happiness that you really want to experience, to fulfill. Very strong physical attraction here between the two of you. That's a very, very passionate dynamic that really gets very heated. I kind of feel that from that point of view, potentially this could be quite a, like a very argumentative relationship at times. Definitely a lot of heated feeling, so things tend to boil over, and this person kind of flips out pretty easily. I feel that they're buying time at the moment. Okay, they know that they need to look at what's going on. They know that they need to make a decision that actually jumps into this relationship so that it goes next level. Okay, they know that. They're trying to face that, but they're just stringing it out because what they really need to do, okay, is to address the fact that, whenever it comes to this point of really connecting at a heartfelt level, they don't take on the responsibility that makes it equal. There's this tendency for them to become a victim of circumstances, to feel that everybody is against them, that everybody is disappointing them, letting them down, and it's always the other person's problem, okay? So when they get like that, they're not addressing their responsibility, they're not addressing their actions, they're not addressing the things that are going wrong fundamentally from their side. They're always making it about everybody else. There's this tendency to blame people in a way that says you're the one that's actually making all of this go wrong. And at the moment, that's where they're at. They're assessing where things are at. They know that they need to step up, but they're very frightened to own what's wrong here. They're very frightened to address their behavioral patterns. And, so rather than kind of go next level and to responsibly and maturely own it, they have a tendency to look back to the past and to see this string of problems in all of these relationships that have led them to this point, and they feel very hard done by, and they think that it's all everybody else's problem. And because there's a lot of pressure coming from your side for them to step it up, they're taking a defensive position. They feel that you're against them. They feel that you're putting them into a position that really, that really crunches them into making some decisions that are about change, which they're very frightened to make, okay, to address. And so my sense is that this person does love you. There is love here. There is mutual love here. But my sense here is that this person is not capable of really looking deeply within themselves in a way that recognizes their behavioral issues, the dysfunctionality in terms of their emotional connection with you and with other people. They're much happier to just keep things going in a way where it's everybody else's problem. I think that you can see that here with Judgment and the Two of Swords. I feel that where this is going in terms of their behavioral pattern and the outcome of this particular situation is that when it comes to further pressure, okay, to actually make a decision, they're actually going to refuse to go deeper into this experience in a way that really unwraps what's going on, and for them to actually face it squarely in a way that actually gives it resolution. And I think more importantly than that, I feel that they won't actually take on your point of view. Yeah, they won't take on what's going for you in terms of your experience, what you're not getting, what it is that you're overcompensating with here. They won't look at that in a way that accepts it, validates it, and fairly recognizes that, you know, there's two of you in this relationship. This person's just making it all about them. They really are. So I kind of feel that, you know, it's not so much crunch time for this other person, okay? It's actually crunch time for you. I think you're the one that needs to make the decision about whether you're in or you're out, for the reasons that I've explained. And that is about being honest with yourself about what this person is failing to give you. And if they can't make those changes within themselves to actually step it up, then at the end of the day, you know, you're setting the bar really low, and you really need to figure out, you know, what you want here. I hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of info there about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading, and we're looking at how the other person feels, what's going on for them, what's going on for you, what's going on between the two of you. Now, the one thing that's really clear to me here is there's two very big personalities, and they really clash. So you've definitely got your work cut out for you with yourself and this other person, and big personalities for really different reasons. I think the other person is very headstrong, very egotistical, burns very brightly in terms of wanting a lot of attention and getting a lot of attention. This is somebody who stands out in the crowd. All eyes are on them, and I think that they are on them for very specific reasons. I think this person goes out of their way to get attention in terms of the way they look, the way that they act. You know, they put on a bit of a show, and so when they're there with you, you know, they fill up a lot of space, and they require quite a lot of energy to deal with. Yeah, I felt that this person was very competitive. That's what I felt very strongly about. They want to do things bigger. They want to do things better. They want more attention. They want more money. They want more security. They just want more of everything, no matter. So it's bigger cars. It's, you know, it's bigger experiences. It's being bigger than other people. Yeah, so very competitive on all of those levels. Very hard to keep up with, as far as that is concerned. The very headstrong though, you know, when they make their mind up to do something, they're going to do it. And so it's a very strong willpower, very persistent. But what's tricky about them is that they always think that they're right. And problem with that is that they think that they're right pretty much all of the time, and they won't listen to somebody else's point of view. They get very fixed on what they think is the right thing. So it's kind of like their way or the highway. And once they've dug their heels in, they won't back down. So very, very headstrong. There's a lot of ego going on here in a way that attracts a lot of attention. They're very caught up in themselves, very caught up in the way that they look. They're very much caught up in the way that they act. But at the same time, there is also something very attractive about who it is that they are. You know, they're, from an energetic point of view, there's a lot going on. And I wouldn't say that they're theatrical, but, you know, like it's kind of like high drama stakes. And, you know, it is a big personality that is very entertaining on that level. And I think that people get very much sucked into the world of this person, and it all becomes about them. You know, they're very much the center of the universe, not only for themselves but for everybody else as well. So I get a feeling that this person has a lot of influence over other people, and you're a very sophisticated, schematic, I think, strategizer. You know, you're a big personality for a lot of different reasons. You're very intelligent. You are very private. I feel like you are fiercely independent. You know, you're kind of like the other person for the opposite reasons, really. It's like your personality is very big, but it's very big within yourself. You don't need all of this kind of validation. You know who you are, you know where you stand, and you know what you can do, and you know that you've got it above everybody else, right? Pretty much all of the time. So you're as bad as each other. I kind of feel like you've met your match here. This person might not be the same as you, but they've met you at a level that gives you an equal degree of resistance. Yeah, this person isn't going to take it lying down, and neither are you. So there's a tendency really to clash. And I feel that you have cut away from this person. I feel that there's something about them that's left you feeling instinctually. I think, you know, it just made you feel really uneasy. I think that you've actually cut away from them, and I think you've closed off from them in a way where you've tried to take back control. This other person makes you feel really vulnerable. It makes you feel unsettled. I don't think it's because you can't control this person. It's because you can't get one over them in a way that has the last word. So the last word for you is actually just to be very final and to cut them out of the picture in a way where they don't have a chance with you. But again, the reason for that, I feel, is that, you know, like, they just create a lot of uncertainty for you in a way that makes you feel quite vulnerable. And being vulnerable is the one thing that you hate. You know, there's definitely trust issues there for you in terms of letting people get very close to you. But when you have somebody who is getting close to you and also who has a very big controlling personality, that actually is something that extracts quite a lot of, I think, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of fear. This is historic for you, I felt, yeah? So, you know, a lot of uncertainty for you. How does this person feel, though? You know, I kind of feel that this person feels very hurt by the fact that you've cut them off, yeah? Deep down, they're crushed. Deep down, they are devastated. Deep down, they are unable to deal with it, yeah? They can't face it. They don't want to face it. They don't want to face the fact that they're just human. They don't want to face the fact that they actually can be hurt. They don't want to face the fact that you've taken everything that they wanted away from them. And their way to compensate for that is actually to be bigger in terms of their personality, to overcompensate in a way that says to you, you haven't touched me, you haven't fazed me, you haven't affected me. So, you know, the vibe that they're giving off is one that's saying, you know what, I don't need you. I'm above all of this. And as far as I'm concerned, everything and anything that you've done to me, yeah, it's water off of a duck's back, and I've moved on. I feel like this person's blocked you. I don't feel that they're letting you in. They're not answering your calls. They're not answering your texts. They probably blocked you on social media, or they're just ignoring you. If they saw you in the street, they would look the other way and they would not give you the time of day. I think that they're actually so as far as they're concerned, to them, it's like you're dead to them. Yeah, death and the King of Pentacles. You know, the King of Pentacles is highly elevated. Above it all, death, it's like, well, you are dead to me, right? You know, like, as far as I'm concerned, it's all over anyway. You know, you've taken control from you know, like a very sort of a very definitive point of view, but as far as I'm concerned, you don't even exist. Yeah. So this competitiveness is really strong between the two of you. I think it's always been that case. Yeah. I think you've always sparred off of each other in a way where you're pushing, pulling, pushing, pulling. Both of you trying to get the last word in. Both of you trying to be bigger than the other one. If I go more into the past, you know, this person's been really invested in you, right? Heavily invested. I said they would have been very passionate about you as an individual. I think they really get you, and you know what they get? They get your sophistication. They get that you're a complex individual who most people can't work out. And they accept you for who it is that you are. And they actually give you a lot of room to be that person in a way that says, you know what? I'll just take a step back and give you the space that you need. So they're actually quite patient with you, right? I think this person's a really giving person. I feel like there's a lot of generosity here. And with the Pentacles are all about material wealth and acquisition. There's an abundance with the Pentacles, particularly with the cards that we've got here. I feel that they're very sharing, very giving, very generous, very kind in terms of their time, their effort, their resources. I felt that this was a very attentive person who patiently gave you the time and the space that you needed to be the person that you needed to be. I don't feel that they were pressuring you to be anything in terms of your connection with them. But I do feel that they were very passionate about you in a way that wanted to take this to the next level. So I feel like, for me, I feel like this is a kind of like, in terms of the longevity of this particular connection, I felt that there was quite a lot of time and effort invested into it. I didn't feel like this was a flirtatious thing or some kind of relationship dynamic or connection dynamic that sort of, has sort of just, sparked up recently. I did feel that there was some significant and look, if it isn't a long time, it feels like a lot's been put into it one way or the other. So there's definitely quite a deep connection thing going on there. Now, where are things at the moment for you? I really felt that the rejection from this other person had fueled a desire to want to kind of get back in there and to see if they were willing to open up and actually, go further in terms of maybe a commitment with you. Yeah. I felt that the resistance from this person, the fact that they were kind of giving off this "you're dead to me" vibe made you it just sparked up your interest even more, because the thing is, you like a challenge. You don't like things to be easy. You like things to be sophisticated. You like things to be complex. You don't want it to be straightforward. If it's straightforward, you get bored within like a nanosecond, and then you just chew up and spit out the person who you're dealing with in a way where it's like, yeah, next. So this person is offering you something that is really complicated, resistant. It's not straightforward. And I think it's always been like that. But since this person has really blocked you, I kind of feel that's made you want them even more. And that's what you're looking for is a second chance. And they're not letting you in, and it's fueling rejection in a way that sparks up your interest and gives you a challenge to work with. It's like you want more. You want to see if you can get back in. Where's this all going? I actually felt, that you were going to be really persistent on this level, that you wouldn't take no for an answer. And you'd wait until you found a weak spot. And the thing is, you're the kind of person who will find it. Yeah, you'll find where things aren't so strong. You'll find where there's a bit of a chink in the armor, and you'll work it until you actually bust through. And I feel that you'll actually get into this person's world, and that you will get their attention, that they will face you, and they will be very honest with you in a way that says, okay, if you really want to make a go of this, I'm willing and prepared to continue on with this connection. So it's kind of stage 2, right? And I felt that they very honestly, deep down, would see a future in the connection with you, and that they would take very practical steps to underpin this connection in a way that actually gave it legs, that helped it to move forward and gather momentum towards some sort of successful outcome. So I kind of feel that you'll get what you want here on one level, but where this kind of leaves me in terms of the uncertainty as to what you're actually doing is down here with the Judgment and the 9 of Cups. And I feel that you'll get what you want, right? And the outcome will be really satisfying, but it will only be very temporary. I think the realization that you don't really feel any different to how it is that you felt right in the beginning will become quickly apparent to you, okay? And that the consequence for that will be that you just don't really trust this person, yeah? That you don't feel that you can really open up to them in a way that really shows them who it is that you are. Yeah, so when push comes to shove, nothing's really changed. And I don't feel that you'll let down your guard, and I don't feel that you'll feel that you can be completely honest with this person, because you'll continue to feel really vulnerable. So you're back to square one again. I think that this reading is reflecting more about you in terms of who it is that you are as a person. This person, do they love you? I mean, that's actually the question. I think that there is actually a very strong, grounded, consistent evidence that this person actually is really committed in a way that's very holistic, and that, it's not love in the kind of gushiest romantic sense, but it's definitely love in terms of a consistent, reliable, honest sense. Yeah, this person is a big personality and you accept them for who it is that they are, or you don't, because they're not going to change. This is who it is that they are. You can't quieten down a person like this. You can't put them inside a box. This is a fully expressive person that has individuality. They're very unique. They need to be the person that they are because that's the person that is that they are. And I think largely you do accept that person for who it is that they are. I think that you actually also give them the time and space that they need to be. I think you're very forgiving of who it is that they are because you realize that that's not what you're like. That's actually what they're like and that's what they need. That's not a threat to you. That's not a threat to you. The threat to you is whether you can really trust them, right? And I feel that the only way you're going to do that is if you actually let them completely in. But you know what? You have to love them to do that. And what I question here is whether you actually feel the same way about them. I think that I have confidence that this person's been very honest with you, cutting through all of the other personality traits that I've discussed. I feel like, what you see is what you get. And with you, not so much. I think that you're quite sophisticated, quite complex, very hidden, very talented, very secretive. And I think that you feel very vulnerable and very sensitive to getting hurt. And I think that at the end of the day, that's always going to be the case no matter who it is that you're with. This is something for you to work out. Are you going to let them in or are you going to keep them out? Hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you would like to find out more information about who it is that I am as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card 3. This is your reading and we are looking at how the other person feels about you and about what's going on between the two of you. Felt that this was a very charged situation between you and this other person. I feel like you've been very angry with something that they've done. Down here with Strength and the Knight of Swords, I get a sense that there's a lot of frustration. I think you've been very verbal in your response to what it is that they've done. I think you've really gotten angry at them and let things fly. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you've thrown a few things around the room. I get a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of venting going on. I feel that you're very charged about what it is that they've done. This has really pressed your buttons, and I don't think that you've been able to hold back. I think maybe you can be like that as a person sometimes, but I think that this particular situation is definitely like one of a small handful times where you've just really lost it. And I feel like it's warranted. I feel like whatever it is that they've done, it's like you've had to really spell this out to them in a way that just, makes, in no uncertain terms, it very clear that this is red line material and that you are not prepared to accept, what they've done, behaviorally speaking. I think it's torn you up as well. I really feel that how you feel about this person versus what you're now thinking as a consequence of what they've done are two very different things, and that in itself is very destabilizing. Because you still feel really strongly about this person, but at the same time you're still processing what it is that they did, and when you think about what they did, it's just like, well, this changes absolutely everything. And so in some way there's no going back, I feel, and it's really about how you choose to kind of figure out what it means so that you can move forward. If I come up here to the Devil and the Ace of Pentacles, I feel like this person has done something to you that has been very deceitful. And I feel like they've been found out. This could be like a lie or some kind of behavior that they try to cover up. And I felt that it was Maybe, and you know what? Maybe the behavior, or maybe whatever it is that they've done, maybe in isolation it wasn't so bad, but I felt that what they had done was that they had tried to cover it up in a very conscious way. So they've been sprung, they've been busted, they've been found out, and then all of a sudden they've actually tried to mask it in a really, like, in a really bad way. It's almost like just so blatant that anybody could see it, and it's almost like that's really insulting in some ways, because it's like, what do you take me for to do that? And immediately their integrity has taken this nosedive, because I felt actually that the cover up could have been quite elaborate as well. For some people it might involve a collusion with other people, that they've actually pulled in, somebody to back them up to give them an alibi, or they've kind of shuffled things around so that it looks like it's not what it seems, but at the end of the day, either way, they've been found out. And I sense that, where things are at the moment over here with Death and the Five of Pentacles, I felt that this person was really backpedaling. Like, death is in your face. You can't hide from death. It's a reality, and it's very stark, and it's very confronting. And I think this person has had to face the music, because at the end of the day, they've realized that they can't lie their way out of this particular situation. They can't deceive you any longer, that they have to make some sort of amends to it. So this is a process of reconciliation just at this point of time. The Five of Pentacles is very much about giving to people and trying to find a balance in a way that is very practical. So I think they're just trying very much to find practical steps to find some sort of resolution between you and them. And they're really appealing to you for mercy. I kind of feel like in some cases it might be they're even begging for mercy. They don't want to lose you in terms of the connection that they have with you. They know that what's at stake is that this could be all over. And I felt that they were just throwing everything at it. Yeah, that they were trying to call you, that they were trying to come around and see you, that they were calling up friends of yours, family. They were getting other people that they knew to give their side of the story to you. It's really quite full on. I felt that they were just, that they knew they had everything to lose, and that, they were going down with a sinking ship, and that they were just going to give everything that they could, to it, in order to find some way, in a hope that, you might, they could claw you back in some way, yeah? I felt that they were being very apologetic, right? And one thing that I'm feeling up to this particular point, I don't really feel that this person has felt what's going on. I just get a person who's reacting to a situation out of desperation. This is somebody who's very panicked. And they're just... they're not really sitting back and absorbing the enormity of what it is that's happened in a way that really honestly understands, firstly, that they shouldn't have done it in the first place, and that they shouldn't have covered up the way that they did cover it up. But also, how it is that you have been affected, and how is it you might feel this. I don't feel that this person has any consideration for anybody else or anything else but themselves at this point in time. And a lot of what they're actually trying to do is to reconcile the situation more out of face, not wanting to lose face. It's like they don't want to come out of this looking really bad. They're desperate to rebalance the situation in order to move forward. They don't want to lose you. There's a lot of panic. They're freaking out, okay? That's what this person is doing. But when you go back to the core of what it is that happened, this person deceived you. That they did know, that they did feel was okay. They felt fine with that. They felt consciously that it was perfectly fine to try and pull the wool over your eyes, to deceive you in a way that led to some sort of elaborate cover-up, so that you would not know what it is that they had done wrong. Because what they did wrong was wrong. And so, if you go back to that particular point, that's your baseline, but that person's not starting at the baseline. They're starting at the other end of the spectrum. They're starting out of panic because they don't want to lose you. So they're trying to patch that part up first rather than get to the root cause of what's going wrong. And I think this is where it's really difficult for you, because if you come down to temperance and the Six of Cups, you're very torn between how you feel and what you think. And the feeling is very strong with this person. And a part of you just kind of wants to go back to how it was before. I think part of you is sort of saying, look, I just wish this had never happened. And I kind of feel like it's a bit of a dream in some ways, because what I could lose here is quite big. But at the same time, you can't let go of what has happened, because trust is a primary issue. And, I did feel for some of you, collusion was an issue. So it kind of, the elaborate nature of what's happened, it extends to other people. So it's actually quite big, maybe from a social point of view from some of you. And it also causes you to think, well, what else is this person not being honest with me about? If they've lied to me about this, if they've tried to cover that up, their integrity is, really at the bottom. And, I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know who I can trust here. So I kind of felt that the ball was in your court. And at the end of the day, you're questioning whether this is an absolute deal breaker. I think a part of you is sort of saying, I'm edging towards this is no longer possible. But the other part of you is saying, I just wish we could go back to what it was that we had before and that this had never happened. And I think it's that sort of, that healing nature of kind of trying to figure things out through process, okay? This has forced the person to really face themselves, okay? This, and I don't know that they are at that point just yet, okay? The World and Page of Swords. I kind of feel where this is moving to in terms of the outcome here. This person is going to look at the situation in a way where they do not want to lose you, that you are their world. Like, they have invested so much in you in a way where to lose you, it really stresses them out. It really worries them. They'll do anything that they can to keep you. But I feel that this person knows that they've actually gone one step too far. And I think in some ways this has actually been a good thing, to be honest with you, because I think that you've actually forced this person to really face themselves at a level that they wouldn't have done if it hadn't have happened, and if you hadn't have reacted the way that you had. I think they're a very intelligent person. I think that this is somebody who really knows how to figure things out. I think this is a very streetwise, very savvy individual who is very clued in. I think that the connection to the lie is one that, it's historical behavior. Perhaps, in their mind, in their world, it's okay to do that sort of thing. But it really brings you to where you are, in terms of the next step. And if we come down here to the Empress and the Four of Pentacles, I felt that this is going to take you some time to process and some time to resolve within yourself. And I think you need to give yourself that time. I felt that you'd actually pull away and that you would actually put up barriers. For you, okay, as an individual, you have a very, your integrity is really strong here. Strength, the Empress, Temperance. These are very, very high, I guess, highly spiritual cards, and as much as the resonance, is right up there at a spiritual level. What is important to you is integrity, okay? So if somebody lies to you, it does mean everything. And at the end of the day, you'd be setting the bar really low if you were to accept this kind of behavior in a way where you forgave it and let them back into your world like nothing had ever happened. And I don't feel that that's going to be the case. I feel that you get to a point where forgiveness is a big part of what this process is about, and accepting that nobody is perfect, but it doesn't mean that you have to take this person back in a way where you had them before. This is essentially their problem. It's not yours. And I think the trust has been breached for me in a way that says, they need to prove themselves over time. And I feel that is going to take a long time for them to be able to claw back some kind of integrity that actually gives you confidence that this person is somebody who you can step forward with in terms of a connection. And I didn't feel that was going to be any time soon. Back to how it is that this person really feels in terms of their overall process, even stepping into the future. I just feel, for me, that this person, they're very much out for themselves, okay? they're very insecure deep down, and they cover a lot of stuff up, not just in terms of their behavior with how it is they've been busted at this particular point, but they cover a lot up about what's going on inside in a way where they don't reveal who it is that they really are. And so I kind of feel like this person has an unpredictable nature that is a little bit masked. And so the honesty for me is very problematic here. And I felt that this was a very self-absorbed person who was really out for themselves first, and you and anybody else was very much in the second best category. So I felt, you had process here, and that you needed to really conclude things in a way that brought you back to a place where you felt confident within yourself, that you had strong boundaries to stop this kind of behavior from happening in the future. Hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 4. This is your reading, and today we're looking at how the other person feels, and we've got some cards here on the table, so let's jump on in. And I'm looking at this other person, and I think you've got your work cut out for you with this particular connection. They're a very sensitive individual who have a tendency to take things the wrong way. I get a very defensive mechanism here that is actually very difficult to deal with. Very emotionally sensitive and quite a vulnerable feeling here. We've got the Devil and Death, King of Cups, huge amount of sensitivity there, and a lot of vulnerability. I kind of felt this was a very guarded individual who, would often respond by taking a defensive position, so that they had a degree of control. I feel that there has been some kind of major fallout over here with Death and the 5 of Swords. I felt that this person had taken something that you'd said either in the wrong way, or that they were very oversensitive to what it is that you said, and they've interpreted it as a kind of like almost like I guess some kind of indication that there's no hope in this particular connection, that things had come to an end in a way that left them feeling incredibly let down and disappointed. I think they've overreacted to the situation in a way that's just kind of seen the worst in whatever it is that's come up here. It feels very disproportionate and very dramatic, and it feels like they've got everything to lose, and they've just not really stayed present in a way that has kept this grounded or civil. I feel like things have actually deteriorated in a way where things have actually gotten really, just very reactive. A lot of things have been said by this person that have been very attacking, very defensive. They felt very volatile, and they've expressed that volatility in the moment. I think things have been very heated and boiled over in a way where I sense that they've been very aggressive. Essentially, they've been very aggressive, so it's kind of like it's either you or it's me here. It's that sort of feeling of like, I'm going to get you before you get me, because I kind of feel very hurt by what's happened. I feel that you've encroached on me in a way that has overcome me and has taken away something that I really want. I mean, death is all about, the inevitable of something that comes to an end. So they've kind of seen whatever it is that's been happening here in a way that's, like a worst case scenario in a very extreme measure, And if I come down here to the Moon and the Ace of Pentacles, I feel like, perhaps you've expressed some sort of an uncertainty with this person about where things are going. I get a sense that you've actually been very honest with them, that you've actually told them how you feel about where things are going in terms of the future. And I think that you've done that out of an effort to, pin down a new beginning with them that's actually a little bit more transparent and honest. I think you've actually just told them how you feel. And I think you've been very practical in that. And I don't feel like you've actually said anything that indicates that you've actually given up on this person. I think deep down, the moon is a very intuitive card that really expresses a lot of uncertainty. And there's a feeling that niggles away with you, in the gut. It's an instinctual, I guess, communication from deep within yourself that says something's not quite right here, Perhaps it's about the behavior of this person, or perhaps it's just about the way things have been rolling between the two of you, and you've just felt that you've needed to say, this is where I'm at, this is how I feel, and what I need as an individual is to sort of, get some sort of a measure as to how we can kickboard into the future in a way that actually gives me a sense that, things are stable and moving towards some kind of practical outcome that gives me something to work with so I can begin to measure how things are moving forward between the two of us. So I kind of feel that you've been very practical, that you put your best foot forward, that you haven't given up on this person. I think you're trying to solidify maybe a lot of the uncertainty that is obviously triggered by this person's behavioral patterns, but maybe just to kind of like also to validate how it is you really feel about what's going on between the two of you. But by actually voicing that, you've actually gotten this really wild response that's given you a very difficult set of circumstances to respond to. And I feel that this person has actually taken a position now where they've actually become even more defensive, but kind of almost like in a positive way. It's like they're taking control of the situation by saying, look, I'm all about me. It's like I'm moving on in a way that I need to address what my needs are. So I kind of feel they've taken a different tact, but they've also taken a different direction. I kind of feel this person's moved forward in a way where it's really about going it alone and doing their own thing in a way where they feel that they have control of their situation. So, my sense is that they're almost giving you this very egotistical, nothing to see here situation. It's like they're compensating this incredible vulnerability that they've expressed previously. Now they're giving off this totally in control vibe that says, I don't need anybody. I'm totally in control and I know exactly what it is that I'm doing, and I'm moving forwards, and I'm moving forwards very much independently. I mean, the Four of Pentacles is a card of consolidation. It's about pulling the energy back in and really consolidating not only how you feel, but making your position known to other people in a way that says, my energy's a little bit defensive. I'm going to put my selfish needs first. And it's reinforced by the Chariot, which is a very egotistical card that's driven towards success. So this person's thinking all about their own needs. It's all about them. They've become even more defensive, but more in a positive way that drives them forward to really regain control and to give them a sense that, they have what they need to move forward. I think for you, though, I felt that, you've had some very reflective process as a result of all of this. And I feel that you can see the potential in where things are going with this particular person. That you have actually invested quite a lot in this person in a way that gives you a feeling that there is actually more to unfold with them. My sense is that you're holding hope here, that you're keeping the door open, so you see the potential in a connection with this person in a way that will unfold more experience together. There's more growth, more learning, more love, more, I guess you see a future with this person. And I think that my sense is that, there's a, strength. It's a very passionate, strong feeling that's coming up through here that says, I really want to have, more to do with this person in a way that gives us a future, essentially. But if you come up here to the Devil and the King of Cups, I felt that this person, they essentially what's happened here, they've lost trust, right? They feel very isolated. They feel very much unable to reveal how it is that they really feel about you. They're incredibly invested in you at an emotional level. I mean, the King of Cups is full of love. I mean, it's really right up there in terms of being at the top of the order as far as emotional feeling and the idea of love is concerned, but it's powered by the devil, which is a very defensive card that is full of mistrust. And so this person has become very oversensitized to the idea that they feel so incredibly in love with you. Yeah. The passion that is driving through them is intensive. It's very, very powerful stuff. The devil is a very ambitious card. It's a very sexy card as well. So there's a very strong physical connection here with you, a very strong, passionate feeling that they are very much in love with you, that they want to be with you. But at the same time, it's double-edged because this person also has a lot of mistrust around the idea of opening up and allowing themselves to tell you how it is that you really feel, but also to let them into your life in a way where, yeah, they want to experience love, but they just don't know how to move forward on it because they've got this oversensitized position that kind of is very love-hate, to be honest with you. It's very up and very down. It's like it's either you and me or you are against me, so it's quite full on in that respect, very polarized. They so want you back, but at the same time they don't trust you at this particular point in time. And I think the thing is that they also expect the worst. There's a lot of negative projection going on there, but overall, I've got to be honest with you, in terms of how they feel, it's a very passionate, loving dynamic that that really needs to be addressed, which is if we come down here to justice and the two of wands, I kind of felt that where you were or where you were heading to in terms of this outcome was that I think the overall experience here is giving you a balanced understanding of what this person's really like, okay? And moving forward in light of your reflective process, I think it's really the ball is in your court, because in order to move forward, you have to know what you're dealing with here, okay? This person is very passionate, they are very dynamic, they are very insecure and vulnerable, and they do react to situations in a way that can be very difficult to deal with. And their tendency is to be very, very, very defensive. Now, if you can kind of hold that balance of understanding and accepting them for who it is that they are, and knowing that you have to tread very carefully, but also very slowly with this person, I think over time you can build trust with them in a way where they will open up and really begin to allow you into their world, into their heart, really. And I kind of felt that there was a future here in terms of this particular connection, but I also felt that you had to make a decision as to what it is that you wanted. Are you in or are you out? Okay, and if we go back to the past, I think there has been uncertainty there. I don't think that you've been painting a picture of, of sort of negative projection in a way where you don't see a future. But I think that your issues, that your the uncertainty that you have had does need to be addressed. But the way forward is to take it one step at a time and to move very slowly with this person in a way that builds trust and finds a place where you can actually have that conversation so that they don't overreact. And I felt that, I kind of felt that a big part of what this was about describing a vision to this person. Yeah. So maybe giving it a positive spin as opposed to coming in from an angle that sort of talked more about what was wrong, is about talking about the hope and the dreams and the vision that you have together in terms of your connection with them. And then to kind of like slowly but surely, address the issues that are outstanding in a way where you can kind of, balance it out so that you don't get this extreme response. I felt this person was very much in love with you. They really wanted to be with you. They obviously feel very vulnerable about losing you. They don't want that to happen. And they're very super sensitive to any kind of dialogue that sort of, indicates that there might be some sort of, loss, that you aren't invested in them in a way that, gives that, that takes away their confidence as to what's achievable between the two of you. I hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.